I'm going to do today's session and it's on WeChat groups. So has anyone been in the course? Has anyone gone through WeChat groups, how to make a group, how to do WeChat? Like, let's just write in the chat, where are we in regards to WeChat right now? Have you got your WeChat set up? Have you got a profile set up? Okay, so Tatiana hasn't got hers set up. Has anyone else got theirs set up?
I haven't been able to get somebody to
Verified.
verify. That's it.
Yeah, because there's got to be someone in China. Have you gone to a Chinese shop, Tatiana?
That's my plan. I've just been so busy with the exam that
Yeah, I know, yeah. And
now
you had told me, yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, so Christine says you haven't got WeChat yet. Emma has got WeChat. Angie has got WeChat. Okay. We've got Carla here. Where are you at, Carla? I'd love to hear. If anyone else has got WeChat. You have an account, Carla. Okay, so there's only 2 people here who haven't got WeChat. You've got a Chinese friend ready, but but still clarifying a niche a bit. So don't worry about your niche as much. I think just try and get that verified. It's probably the biggest hurdle really to getting into WeChat and starting your Chinese social media journey. So it would be really good to get that done. And honestly, sometimes it's a pain in the neck, but just walk down your high street, go find a Chinese shop, hold it up, get them to verify you. Because like I haven't done it myself, but they've apparently now put a new thing in place. Emma was saying as well that you have to now be, is it Wix or Wiki or something, like verified? So I think you have to literally have like a Chinese bank account linked certified one in order to verify you. So it's just in the recent month or 2, it's become a little bit more complicated. And it seems like it's actually only Chinese-based person who can now verify you, which is annoying. Because sometimes you could get a teacher to verify you, you know, if they've had it for long enough. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I think let's focus on WeChat today, talk about it as how I use my funnel and how I specifically use WeChat groups. Now, Katie and I have differed on this. So love Katie and think she's an excellent coach. She has always done things a little bit differently to me. And I think it's just the situation I was in when I got laid off and how my journey was compared to hers. So just to let you know, when I got laid off in August 2021, there were like, you know, thousands of teachers who suddenly lost their jobs. And there was a little group of us, and this is how I know James Jones and Cynthia and a few others, Liv, I mean, we were all in it together, is we connected with Chinese parents and they said to us, you've got to get onto Chinese social media. And what happened is between the parents and the teachers, we created WeChat groups to connect and find students. Because like the students who I knew from Wales English, they could find me on a WeChat group. And then what would happen is we just went private. So we just, you know, cut out the company and I connected with them directly. So then what happened is after you have 500 people in a WeChat group, it gets full and you can't add anyone else to those groups. And so more and more and more groups started to form. And so a way for me to find students was to join all of these other groups and to market myself as a teacher initially, just to find my own students, because, you know, we suddenly lost contact with them through our company. But then it became, well, what about other students? And other people wanted our services. And so that grew and grew and grew. And so I've become part of, like, I don't know, 50, 60, 70 groups, maybe even 80 to 100 over, you know, the last 2 years. And they've all kind of changed. So, for example, I've been part of some groups, and the teacher who initially started that group suddenly realized, well, I don't want other teachers in my groups because I want to find students. And so they kicked a ton of us out. So it's always a thing. And in fact, sometimes I get messages, oh, I just got kicked out of this person's group. Oh, I got kicked out of this person's group. And it's a shame because then you're like, oh, no, I can't find students in that group. But then I started to swap groups with other teachers, and I'd be like, I'll add you to my group if you add me to your group. So this was really my journey and how I found students. Katie wasn't part of that journey. Katie has only ever used Xiaohongshu to advertise her services and then funnel them into her own personal WeChat group, which is where she nurtures them. So Katie is only part of the groups that she has started. I am part of other people's groups who they have started the groups. They are administrators of the group. They can kick me out of those groups at any time, but I have been able to find students in them. There is a problem though, because you could get kicked out of these groups, or these groups could just be full of teachers and no students. They could be full of spammers because you get other people spamming those groups and, you know, posting all sorts of rubbish. So there's some groups that are really good and there's some groups that are just really terrible and you're never going to find a student in there. So that's been my journey. So between Katie and myself, ultimately, if you had to take both of our coaching backgrounds and both of what's worked for us, I would say the best thing to do is to have your own group where you have set it up as an administrator. You have full control over who comes into your group. So you don't have to let other teachers come into your group if you don't want them to come into your group. And then you have parents joining your groups, and that is the only people who join your group, right? The benefit of that is you've got full control. If there's a spammer who comes in, you kick them out. Okay. You nurture those people with free content, with value-based content until they decide to buy from you. So that's probably ultimately what you want to do. Now, Katie only tells people about her groups probably from Xiaohongshu because that's her funnel. But what I've done and other teachers have done is we advertise our group for parents to join. We advertise that in other public WeChat groups because there are people in those other public WeChat groups who are looking for teachers. We advertise our groups in those WeChat groups and they come into ours. So I'm going to show you examples of all of this and how it works for different teachers. Helen is a great example of this. Helen actually is part of a school called Sparkfish. Between them, they've got 250 students and they have loads of group lessons with students. They're doing very, very well. And they have their own groups that teachers are not allowed in, but they post and advertise about those groups everywhere publicly. That could be, you know, on other people's WeChat groups. You can't necessarily do it publicly with a QR code on Xiaohongshu, but you can post about them and funnel them in. So I'm just going to kind of explain the background of this. I'm going to show it to you. And then I can see, like, some of us have got questions. So you're welcome to ask questions along the way. So Tatiana's got her hand up, and then Christine's got a comment in the chat. Yes, Tatiana?
So let's say I have a product I want to advertise. It's not necessarily classes. Is accessing these WeChat groups, I mean, it's in service, it's a service for students.
Yeah.
But is that something that can be kind of passed around via WeChat?
So WeChat is basically a Chinese social media that everyone and anyone has in China. It's like WhatsApp in countries like South Africa. Everyone has it. It's like Messenger, Facebook Messenger for most people who use that, or Telegram for people who use that. It's basically a messaging service provider that you can find people. So if you have got a service or a product and you're wanting to get people in China to buy that, WeChat is a really essential tool for you to have.
And do people buy subscriptions?
So with subscriptions, I personally use Stripe, and I then take someone's emails address and then I add them to Stripe for weekly subscriptions, or you could do monthly subscriptions, or you could do termly subscriptions. So basically you're asking, can you organize subscriptions? You don't do that on WeChat, but you communicate with people, you get their email addresses, and then you can do that. Otherwise, Super Teacher is also invoicing, so you can use that for Super Teacher too. Yeah.
Thank you.
I've got a question from Christine. What are all these 700 groups? Are they all WeChat? So what I'll do is I'll share with you my WeChat groups, and I'm going to just tell you my story to give you inspiration. And then I think ultimately at the end, what I want you to do is, if you have a WeChat account, you need to start your own WeChat group. That's ultimately the goal for the end of this lesson. Because that's where you're going to nurture people and send people to, and that's going to be your community. And that's where you'll get referrals. So even if you have 5 people in a WeChat group and you nurture them, you're going to say, please tell your friends about this so that they can join the group. And that's what happens. People join until it gets so big. You know, you have to start another group. And that's what happened with me. And that's the story I'm going to tell you today. So
But
I'm going to tell story of story time.
sorry, can I ask you? Sorry,
Oh, yeah, sure. Christine, yeah.
I just don't understand. When you said 700, is that they're all WeChat groups within? They're all groups within WeChat, then, are they?
It's like a Facebook group or like a messenger group,
Yes. Okay.
or
So they're all WeChat. Yeah. Okay.
they're all hosted on WeChat, but they're
Okay.
different closed community groups.
Yeah, I
So,
understand.
yeah. So ultimately, whatever platform you're on, having a closed group is really good, because that's where you can nurture people privately to get them to then buy your stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do think it's important because it cuts out people who are just not relevant to your purposes and who could possibly just waste your time. So
Yeah, yeah,
so really, it's about controlling who's in the room, which is
that's
to
it.
your benefit. Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. So I'm going to tell you my back end story. If you were with Liv on Friday, she mentioned this to you, and I think it would be a really good thing to unpack with you and help you understand. So when I first started teaching online, I actually started a school called Ocean English, and there was a whole group of teachers in my school where I would help them to find students. So what we would do is we taught alpha tales. So for 26 lessons, there was a group of us, and we all took turns showcasing our teaching skills. So at the end of each lesson, we would say to the parents, if you want me to be your teacher, please message me. Here's my QR code. They would share their QR code. You can contact me directly, and I can teach your child, you know, English lessons for phonics or whatever it was. So it was a really good way for teachers to showcase their teaching and then get connected with parents. So what I did is we had a group of, I think it was like 6 of us doing these classes, and I started a story time group for it. So my story time ended up being 3 different groups because they just grew and grew and grew, because this was a free 25-minute class. And again, that's a lead magnet. So if you look at the people in this group, there's our teachers who used to teach with me: Liv, Carly, Tamsin, teacher Beth, myself. We would all teach. And we basically created this flyer saying, come and join us for a free story. I think it was at 6 o'clock in the, you know, at night. We're going through alpha tales, and we had pictures of like Frozen and Peppa Pig, and we tried to make it very relevant for younger students, because all of us had come from an ESL background teaching young students. So that was really our market. That was a lot of people at that time, like really looking for, you know, teachers. So if you can see, all of the people in our group, other than the teachers, are Chinese parents. And if there were any teachers who weren't in our group who wanted to join, then I kicked them out. Okay, because I don't want them advertising their services in my group. So there's ways that you can do this. You've got messages, like you can set a group message when you set this up. So my group message when people joined, and even the name of it, I would, when I sent things out, I'd say, this is for parents only. So if a teacher joins, and even in the description, I'd say parents only who are looking for an English teacher or something like that. I'd say, and sometimes I'd be blunt, like other teachers not allowed. This is parents only. Like I'd make it loud and clear, and then they would know if they tried to join, then they'd get kicked out of the group. And I mean, you can be really nasty on here and report people, which is awful, because if you get reported often enough, WeChat will restrict you. Not like poor Emma here, who's trying to get people restricted on Facebook. I saw that this morning. On WeChat, if you get reported often enough, they'll restrict your account. So yeah, which is not nice, but you know, if someone's breaking the rules, you can do that. So anyway, this is story time number 1. And what happened is once it gets to 100 people, people can no longer join through a QR code. They can only join if they've been invited by someone in the group. So it's a bit complicated. But so what we did is we're like, well, okay, we want people to join through a QR code so they can scan it and join our group. So once it hit 100, we started story time 2. So here's story time 2. So we had 2 groups of over 100 people in them. And you can see these are our teachers at the top, and the rest of them are parents. In fact, this is the group notice here. You can read the group notice in Chinese, but then parents would join the group. They would read our group notice, be told about, you know, what this group is about. It's a free story at 6 o'clock every day. Come and learn from our teachers. If you're interested in using one of these teachers as a paid teacher for ongoing classes, you know, then contact us. Now, once this group got over 100, guess what we did? We did story time 3. And story time 3, again, you know, got to up to 100 people or whatever with our teachers. And yeah, this is how we found a lot of our students. So again, this was our lead magnet, which was a free story. In fact, we did it 3 times a week at the time. But I think if I were doing it, you know, now I'd probably just do once a week as a free 25-minute lesson as a way to just get people to join my group. Because then what we did, I mean, it's years and like basically years ago now, you can't see, you know, after we finished the 26 lessons, we said, please choose one of these teachers and consider having them for ongoing classes. So we actually stopped the free classes, and we just use these groups now to nurture people, to post, you know, relevant content if we wanted to, and our flyers. And that's how we got people. And the thing is, they had learned about us, they'd grown trust, they had added their friends, people would add their friends to these groups, the groups would grow, and we would just be able to fill our schedules with students like this. So this was our closed group. Now, initially, we needed to tell people about our group to join it. I'm actually wondering if I can just quickly go to my Canva account and find my original Canva flyer for story time. So just bear with me. See if I don't think I can search it. Yeah.
You just give us like click on one of the stories so we can just kind of see what it looked like, please?
That's a great question. Let me just see if I can find my story time. I actually think it was in my old Canva account. Let me find it. So I think we've got some recordings of these story times. I'll ask Liv. She uploaded them each time. Let me see if I can just find the flyer. But I'll see if Liv has got a recording for you to watch, because I mean, we had like 20 kids, 30 kids, 40 kids, it just grew and grew and grew, of kids who came to listen to our stories, and they'd all be phonics. So we use alpha tails. So during the story, there was lots, you know, we would focus on one letter, which would be phonics, and then they would have to say the letter again and again, like letter A, letter A. And we would get them to, you know, draw the A out on the screen and things like that. Sorry, this was from ages ago. Just seeing if I can find it. Can't see it. I think it's in my other Canva account. Sorry, I should have had this. You know, it is in the course when I unpack this in the course somewhere.
Master course.
Let me just see if I can change accounts. Yeah, sorry, everyone. If you've got any questions, this is a great time to ask a question. Is it this one? Let's see. No. Sorry, guys, I'm failing today. But basically it was like this. I mean, Liv did it with you. It was a story time flyer. The
I
thing
wasn't
that
there.
we did is we said, instead of it being our personal QR code, we would use the QR code of that group. So it would be scan here to join the group, the story time group. So that's how we did it. I would love to find it for you, but anyway, don't want it to take up too much time. Let me just see. 2 more accounts. Ocean English, is it this one? So Ocean English is the school. I want to find it for you. Anyway, if I can't find it, I'll let it go. Okay, any other questions regarding groups? I am going to show you how to set up a group. You have to have 2 people to join your group when you start it in WeChat, which is kind of annoying, but that's where you just find another fellow student to say, hey, can you help me? To start a group. So this is Helen. She runs Sparkfish, and you'll see when she posts, I mean, she's in our story time groups. Let's have a look at her flyer. Here we go. That's Happy Chinese New Year. Oh, look, these are all of the different groups that they've got. Can you see? And then this is join us. So that one is her QR code. But I'm going to show you one where she's got it. She basically advertises group classes to join. And you'll see her around. Here we go. So this is a Reading Explorer group class. So basically, that QR code is not necessarily her personal QR code. It would be a group QR code. So you would join the group of people who are learning for this Reading Explorer group class. And that's where they would get information about it. Christine's checking it out. You'll get bounced. It might be Helen's. Let me see if it is Helen's or not. But typically it's the group class. Let's see. And it will tell you the group, if it's a group class or a person, when you scan it. Anyway, so she'll do this for all of her different groups, and like you can see, she runs a school of all these different ones. So she does Reading Explorer, Harry Potter, Cambridge Movers, Reach Higher, A, B, 4, KET. You know, so between the people in Sparkfish, they've got lots of different groups running lots of different curriculums, and they have lots of different groups that they're in. In fact, I joined one of her groups ages ago. I was very sneaky about it. I'll see if I can find it. I got kicked out, obviously. I got kicked out, but it's good sometimes to see what other people are doing. This is Speak. Oh no, this is Speak, sorry, that's a different school. Let's see, actually. Speak. We'll see if we've got a flyer here. That is an example. No. Speaking for Advanced. Sorry, I'm just searching through them. Okay, have you got any questions, and I'll answer them in the meantime, yeah?
Would the kids read in that those classes, or what what was the format of those story
So in the story times, we would tell a story, and I mean, for us, we did like the letter, and then we would read the Alpha Tale story itself.
but
And then we would do something fun. So I mean, one of the teachers did a dance party afterwards, and the kids loved that, with an English song. You could sing a song, or
this
trying to
other
see where.
person who had a whole school of that, though, what was there? You said you got on there, you saw what she was doing.
Yeah, so I went into the group to see what it was about, you know, and I got kicked out because I wasn't meant to be in there, but I just wanted to have a sneak peek, because if you scan it, you can enter the group, you know.
Right.
And they were nurturing them. So this is a school here, Speak, and you can see how they nurture them. So You've got a video here of one of the teachers that you can watch.
Can't hear it.
Oh, you can't hear it? Okay, sorry. Okay, so basically, she's got her curriculum here, Lingua House, and she's talking to a student, and she's just showcasing what it's like in a lesson. And they might have other things in there, conflict of interest. That's what the lesson is going to be about. And here we go. We've got a question from a student. What does the word organ mean? And so the teacher is the one who's able to say an organ refers to a functional part of the body. And look, these are all the students who are joining. In fact, this is the group class here. So this is, I made this flyer. This is a good example of a flyer. So this was speak classes, which is speaking classes for adults. This is the QR code for the group. In fact, the QR code for the groups, yeah, it says here in yellow, like scan me to join the free group class, and it's got everything explained in English. And this is the ID. So if you wanted to do it on Xiaohongshu, because my ID is the same on WeChat and Xiaohongshu, I would take the QR code off, and I would and you know, scan here off, and I would just say contact me through my ID or whatever. Contact me, message me if you're interested. And then you can post this on Xiaohongshu. You can't post QR codes on Xiaohongshu. That's the difference. Okay, Christine's got her hand up. These are all videos. Yeah.
Okay.
Videos. Yes, Christine?
Oh, don't you have to make it clear on the front of the flyer that who can join the group?
So that's the fun thing, is I do all of mine in Chinese. So it is clear in Chinese, but teachers can't read it. So it's not clear for English teachers, because one of the issues as well is when I was in part of a lot of public groups, some of them actually said you're not allowed to invite people to other groups. That was one of the rules in some of them. So I would still invite them to groups, but I just put it in Chinese so that they couldn't read it. So they would think this is my personal QR code, that they were joining me personally, but actually I was inviting them to a group. So this is in Chinese. Yeah.
So what do you say? What do you actually write in Chinese? What are you writing on the front?
I'll show you. Let's translate it. So let me just get my snipping tool and translate this.
Is snipping cutting and pasting?
No, snipping is basically, well, I guess copying a certain snip. So you can do the whole page, or you can do like part of the page.
I mean, you don't have to do all that. You could just tell me what you write to, if you don't.
I don't know.
Okay.
I can't speak Chinese. I've got no idea what it says. Like, I mean, I made this flyer like, you know, well over a year ago. So, and this is a nice thing. If you don't know how to translate something, you can upload a picture. Let me see. This is that one.
Ooh.
Because there's a lot of pictures that I don't know. So here we go, images. You can upload an image. Browse your files. It's a bit finicky, but I do this with WeChat. If I get like a message from WeChat and I don't know what it says, I can take a screenshot of it. And then here we go. You can translate it into English. So this is what my flyer says in English. 7-day free trial adult English classes. Please join our class today, 20 o'clock. Okay, join via the QR code. So people would scan this and then join. This lesson teaches common vocabulary expresses to describe food and beverages at a restaurant. Da, da, da.
So you're asking anyone to join there, though, aren't you? Anyone can join.
Yeah, anyone can join through this QR code. But I mean, an English teacher can't read Chinese, they wouldn't bother translating it, you know. So it can be anyone to join. And the thing is, when they join the QR code, that's why your description in your WeChat group is so important, to say, this is for Chinese adults who are looking for, you know, lessons with speak classes. And the thing is, when it's all in Chinese, and even the descriptions in Chinese and everything, typically teachers don't join. You know, one or two might. I mean, when we did story time, a lot more teachers would join that, and I'd have to make sure I kicked them out. But they, like a lot of people, when you do it like this, they think that you're just advertising for your personal QR code to talk to you directly, and not necessarily join a group.
Okay, so that's why you were kicked out, because you weren't, because you were not someone wanting to learn English.
Yeah, like I'll see people posting, like Helen, for example, who owns a school. If I'm not a teacher in their school and I join that group, she'll kick me out of it because she doesn't want me in there. Like I'm a teacher. She doesn't want other teachers to be in there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's try and find one of Helen's, and maybe one person can respectfully try and see what happens. So this, I want to see where the group class is. Here we
So
go. This is a perfect example. So this is Helen's group, classmates and parents. Okay, valid to O. So you might not be able to join this because group class QR codes also expire. So you have to always get a new QR code every like 10 days to 2 weeks. So you could try, I mean, I could see if I could try and join this, and I'd join, and then she'll message me and be like, what are you doing? Like that. Because I mean, then you can poach all the students in that group, right? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'll see if it
understand.
tells me what it says. So, but this is the thing, you need to start your own group and advertise it in these public spaces, because then you get people who see your group, especially if you're a niche teacher. So this is saying classmates and parents. I mean, that's very vague, but you might have a niche of like KET exams with a Bridge Academy, or KET exams with Reach Higher, or, you know, going through past papers for the Cambridge exams, or whatever your niche is. You can name your group that niche, and then when you put the group in the different places, I would do it in Chinese, then parents will see, oh, that's a group that I want to join, like let me see what's happening in there. Another thing that I would say is, as soon as someone joins a group, you should, if you're really serious, you should message them and be like, hi, welcome to the group. I see that you're interested in, you know, learning more. Tell me about yourself. What are you looking for? Because I mean, you can see in speak classes when someone joins, speak adult English classes, when someone joins a group, you can see it. It tells you when people join. Let me find it. Here we go. These are all the people who joined. So you can see this person joined a group. And what you can do is, when they join a group, you can just click on this. I would add them as a friend, because then you can always send them a broadcast. You can always contact them. Like if they leave the group, you won't be able to contact them. So add them as a friend on contact in WeChat, message them. Hey, I'm Jess from the Speak Adult classes. I see that you're interested in learning English. I'd love to hear more about you. Where are you from? What are your English learning goals? I'd love to help you. Okay, Tatiana's got her hand up, a question. Yes, Tatiana?
So how, if you're like with the stories and stuff, or with anything in this world, how do you keep, if one person's paying, how do you keep the paying person from sharing everything for free with somebody else?
So you've got a free lead magnet. So with us, story time, is a free group for free lead magnets, right? But once they want lessons with us, then you're like, okay, what I'm going to do is if you want one-on-one lessons, you start a group like this. So this is me with my one-on-one student. But if you want a small group with 2 students, so I've got 2 students here, you create a new group. And this is paid. So all of this is relating to paid lessons that students pay for. And it's private between these 2 parents with their kids.
Is there a way
So,
to privatize something that's not classes, but like
give me an example.
a story, a story, and it's I have, you know, and if you subscribe, you get X amount of stories at these levels for, you know, per month. What prevents one person buying it and another person and them
I think you'd
not?
have to store it on a software that gives them access to something. So like Super Teacher, if you're doing a membership option, they have to pay each month to get access to your materials. And if they stop paying, they would stop getting access to those materials. So
Okay.
it would have to be a software. So WeChat is a communication tool, like a messaging tool.
But
Yeah, so
Teacher can handle that?
pardon?
Super Teacher can handle something like that?
I believe so. I believe they're doing monthly subscriptions.
Yeah.
If you're small as well, Tatiana, you will know if someone hasn't paid you, you can manually stop them. But when you grow bigger, you want to use a platform. So I use Thinkific. So if someone subscribed on Thinkific and they didn't pay on time, they automatically get shut out of the course content.
It's called
And then you can
Thinkific.
I use something called Thinkific. I'll write it in the chat. Thinkific is a course hosting software. So if people don't buy, then they get kicked out. So when I was helping Speak set up their school, they use LearnWorlds, and that's another course hosting provider. So if they pay for the class or the membership or once-off fee, you can set it up, you know, with once-off fees or memberships or whatever. When they pay for that, they get access to the Zoom link or the course material or the PDF downloads. So, so that's where it becomes you're an online teacher. You could do it very like casually, or you could start looking at using a school and a platform and setting it up more officially, and that's where you really grow. So I mean, I think trying to remember what Sparkfish is using. I think Sparkfish are contemplating going over to Super Teacher. I told them about it. I was like, it seems like a great platform, and see if you can speak to Ivy about hosting a school. I'm even thinking about moving my school onto Super Teacher and looking to host on there, because it's getting more and more some really great features that it didn't have before. It's actually really doing very well. I think it's going to be a really great platform. I think it's going to go places.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? So ideally, you want to start your own groups. So this is a group that I started with 2 parents. Okay. You cannot start a group with one person. Okay, if you try and start a group and you add one person, it just sends you to like a 1-person chat, right? So say I'm teaching, I teach Krista, it's only 1 student in a class. I just direct message her. If I've got 2 students in a class, there's 3 people in that group, so there's at least 2, so we can have a little group class. Now these are all then like paid services. You can see each week they send me screenshots of when they pay me. And yeah, so this is like a paid group. But my lead magnets, so say like if I'm doing Speak, or if I'm doing that Speak adult English classes, or if I'm doing story time, anyone can access these, and it's my lead magnet, and I want as many people to join these groups as possible, but no one's paying me for being in this group. This is a lead magnet. Okay, so if you want 194 parents, you know, coming into a group who you're nurturing, and they invite their friends into the group, because that's also how you attract other people. Yeah, it's a nice way to grow your reach in an organic way. So I mean, with story time, we would post those posters out and more people would join, but then they would invite their friends because they can share the QR code. And we would say to them, please share this group QR code with your friends. Tell them about this group, invite them to join. And even with Speak, we motivated them by saying like, hey, if you invite more, if you post it on your moments and you invite more than like 5 friends, then we'll extend your trial class and give you an extra free day, or we'll send you like some free resource. But you really want to encourage them to send it to their friends. You don't know any Chinese people, but if you've got one student who lives in China, you know, they know thousands of people around them that they can invite to your group classes, to your WeChat group. So let's look at starting our own WeChat groups. Now, I can't do this with you on the computer, but I can do it with you and speak it through with you on my phone. So if you all want to grab your phones out, I think it's really important to do this. Now, if you haven't got more than 2 friends on WeChat, what you can do is you can put your WeChat ID here in the chat and just start with friends. So say Tatiana wants to start a group. I mean, and I would do this with friends as well. I'd just say, listen, I'm wanting to start a group so that I can get that QR code and put it on my flyer. Do you mind if I add you as a friend first? It's going to be for my group and my leads. I just need you to be someone in the group to start it with. And then maybe once you get a few students, you can kick your friend out, you know? Otherwise, if you've got a friend who's got a different niche than you, and you want to maybe do a more like, I don't know, like for me, I don't teach phonics, but I'll teach high schoolers, you know, so you could have like a lead magnet and I could be in there. And if there's people asking for high school students, you know, I would pick them up and I'd, you know, and that's the thing with us, when we did story time, we all had slightly different niches. So you can post your own flyer in that group and say, if anyone's looking for classes, you know, I teach for the PET exam. My other friend over here teaches for the KET exams. My other friend teaches for the IELTS exams. We all had different niches, so we were all just helping each other get that, you know, movement, getting people to come into the group and nurture them. And yeah, so that's kind of what we did. So if you haven't already, there are lessons on this in the course. So if you're wanting to look at how to do a group, I believe that's in Chinese social media. Here we go, WeChat groups and features. So what we could do is we could just watch this, it's 5 minutes long, and it literally tells you how to set up a group. So yeah, you've got to find 2 people. So who has not got 2 friends in WeChat? If not, you need to put your WeChat ID in the chat, and the other people here need to add you as a friend. And it's really good to make friends on WeChat with other teachers, because if you all help each other, you'll all find students quicker.
If I go to a Chinese restaurant and ask for help, do I add them as a friend right then and there? And then
they just have to verify you. I don't know if they'd want to become your friend unless you say to them, oh, by the way, I'm an English teacher. Do you know anyone who's looking for English lessons? I mean, they might. I mean, that's happened. I've had people say, I got my first English student from when I verified in a random Chinese shop. So I don't know if they'd want to become your friend. It's really just, can you help me get verified? And they'll verify you, and then you can start your WeChat journey.
How soon, how much time do you have to get a friend before they boot you?
No one's going to boot you. Once you're verified, you're verified.
Oh,
so
got it. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So has everyone got 2 friends in WeChat? Christine, have you got 2 friends?
No.
Other teachers or whatever? No. Okay. So put your WeChat in the chat right now.
I don't have a WeChat ID yet.
No, sorry. Angie, do you have your WeChat ID?
How do you put that in the chat? How?
So whatever your WeChat ID is, if you go to Zoom, at the bottom, there's something called chat, and you can just write your WeChat in there.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, Emma, have you got your WeChat ID? Maybe you've got friends. Carla, I don't know if you've got your WeChat ID and friends. Okay, so I've got someone, Miss Angie, CM, lovely. Okay, so if you are on WeChat, add Angie as a friend, because then you can start a group together. And, you know, one can be your group, but Angie's just, you know, a friend in there, and one will be someone else's group. But you've got to get at least 2 people to start a group.
Well, let's just try to.
Okay, Emma Teffel, lovely Emma. And again, like if you, I mean, I talked about WeChat's group swaps. That's how you get into other groups, is by swapping with other teachers. Okay. So if you're not sure how to add someone, I'll just help you do that. So if you go to contacts in WeChat, contacts, and then at the top, you can do plus new friends. Oh, sorry, actually, no, don't do that one because that's for mobiles. So just go to the magnifying glass. So it's contacts, and at the top, go to magnifying glass, and then you can search someone's ID. So just punch in there, Miss Angie CM search, and you'll be able to find her. Oh, nice colourful background there, Angie. It's like a rainbow coloured one. Love it. Okay, so that's Angie. And then just punch in Emma Teffel. And then you've got to press, if you haven't, if it doesn't show up, you've got to press search account, Emma Teffel. And there's your picture, Emma. Lovely. And I like that you've got British next to your name. That's quite good. And your WhatsApp is there. Online key A2 for school, KET, teacher from the UK. Lovely. Yeah, Christine, absolutely. The recording will be uploaded. Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, so add each other as friends. You've got Miss Angie and Miss Emma. What I'm going to do is, I don't think you can hear. Is it share sound? Okay. Tell me if you can hear this.
So I'm going to give you a tutorial about how to use WeChat and groups and some different features that it has.
Can you hear that? Okay. Okay, so we're just going to watch it because honestly, I can't share my screen, but it's so much nicer to see it. So we can pause it, but get your phones out and follow along, especially if you've got WeChat.
Let's have a look. So I'm in WeChat, I've shared a post. I've also shared like that I'm trying to find a student, and I'm getting parents messaging me, which is great. It is in Chinese, so I can just right click on that and it says press and translate, and I press on that, translates it into English. It's great. Now I'm going to go to a group that I've created called Teachers for Adults and Kids. Now, if I have someone joining my group who I don't like, I can always press the minus button to get rid of them. So I'm going to press the minus button, search for the group name. Now, if it's in Chinese, you can copy the Chinese name and paste it in. That's the easiest way to do it. So I'm going to delete her. Goodbye, Beth. Okay, if I want to invite someone to my group, then I can press the plus button and I can invite them in through there.
Okay, let's just pause there. If you want to invite someone into your new group, then that's great. So if you've added lots of people as friends in your WeChat, so I've got quite a few thousands of friends. If I start a new group and I want people to join that new group, maybe it's a different niche, then I can actually invite them to join the group. So what I've done before is I've done a broadcast and I've sent my flyer with the QR code to join, or I might just like go into the group and I'm like, I know that this person, that person, and the other person are maybe looking to learn the IELTS or whatever. I can literally use that plus button and they can join the group from there.
Okay, now I want to create a new group. So I'm going to go to new chat.
Okay, so we're creating a new group. Okay, if you go to WeChat, go to the top right, it's the plus button. Okay, go to new chat.
The plus button on the top right, and I'm going to click at least 2 people.
Okay, now you need to click 2 people. So you can see where there's names here. That's where if you've just added Emma as a friend or you've just added Angie as a friend, you need to click at least 2 people here so that they can then join your group.
Click at least 2 people to join my group. If you only do 1 person, you're just going to go to their chat. So you need to click at least 2 people to create a group. Now you can name your group. So go to the top right.
Okay, do you see that? So we're going to name our group. So once you've got a group, you can name it. So there's 3 dots in the top right that you can click on to name your group. So Angie and Emma, have you got 2 people? Have you created a group? Yeah, Emma, hopefully. Angie has. Okay, awesome.
Right. Select group name.
So you're going to select on group name, and now you can change your group name.
And you can name the group. Maybe you could say Teach with Jess, and it can be an invitation for parents to join you, or you could even say parents only, lessons with Jess, or you could do something like a holiday club or a reading club, maybe like Reading Explorer course, 6 weeks. Right, now once we've done that, you can do a group notice.
Okay, so you've named your group so that people know what the group is about. Now you can create a group notice. Now, I typically try and translate everything I do into Chinese, because if parents don't know how to read English, you know, you're excluding them. So if you can do everything in Chinese, write it in English, translate it, and pop it in as a group notice.
Too. So go to the same place, do your group notice. So whoever joins this group have to read this notice coming in, or at least it's very accessible for them to read it. Now, if it's lessons with you, for example, I would make a group notice saying, you know, your bio, about you, your qualifications, and you can even put your prices here because it's your own private group. So you can put your prices here so that people can just see, okay, what your prices is, what your bio is, and everything that they need to know about you. When you've finished, translate it into Chinese. Now you can get your QR code from here.
Okay, let's just quickly go back and see where the QR code is for the group. So can you see here, you've got your group name. The second one down is QR code. So this is where you get your QR code, like with a snipping tool or whatever you use. And that's the QR code you can put on your flyer. So if this is a lead magnet, like a free story that you're reading once a week or whatever, this is the QR code that you need to put onto the flyer. And what I would do as well is this QR code does expire. So if someone sees this flyer and it's expired, what you can do is you can say to join the group, scan here. And you can also put your WeChat ID on the flyer, because what would happen is someone would scan the QR code and, you know, it had expired. And now how do they get hold of me? So you can still put your ID on the flyer, which doesn't ever expire. They can always contact you through your ID.
Into Chinese. Now you can get your QR code from here too, which is great for adding to your Canva flyer if you want them to join a specific group. To show that it's a group, make sure you keep the icon on at the top. Learn with Jess. If you don't want to show that it's a group, then you can just cut that out and use that in your Canva flyer.
Okay, so some groups publicly allow you to be able to advertise a group, like a different group for people to join. Other people do not like it. So for me personally, I only ever will use this QR code. I won't show that it's a group to join, unless I know that, you know, they're okay with it.
Can you see the notice at the top there? Now, other things you can do is you can add pictures. So you just go to the add button at the bottom, add photo. This is the more button here. You can add maybe a flyer or your video. There's my flyer. You can also do a contact card. If you want to share a contact with someone, like maybe you want to share a parent to another parent, you can just add a contact card to them. This is how it looks like doing that. You can add a file. I often get asked for my CV. So I have my CV as a file and I can share that through WeChat. But this is basically how you would use a group and a lot of the good features that you can use.
Okay, so there was a blitz through there. It was quite fast. But it's really figuring out how to start your own group, making a group name, making a group notice, knowing how to kick people out of the group who are not welcome there, how to add people into the group, get your QR code, put it on a flyer, and you can mark it with that, especially in WeChat and in WeChat public groups. Okay, you can't do that on Xiaohongshu. The only way to funnel people from Xiaohongshu, and this is what Katie's going to share with us on Wednesday, is you can put your same WeChat ID, and then they contact you directly on, and then you can say, well, join my group. So you can become friends, you can add them to that group, or you can send them the flyer once you're in WeChat. But you can't share your WeChat group QR code on Xiaohongshu. Okay, let's do some questions here. Any questions in the chat that maybe I haven't seen?
Jess, will this little video of yours be in the master course? Will you add that?
This is. So it's under WeChat groups and features, and it's module 10.
Thank you.
So honestly, I mean, I know it's nice meeting with people going live and stuff, but if you're looking to really set up your Chinese social media, the easiest thing is to go into the course and follow these videos step by step, because I can't show you my phone video on my screen now. This is all like put together where I've had to record it and add it and everything else. It's a bit tricky. Actually, I need to ask Katie, because I think she can plug her phone in and somehow manage it, but yeah, honestly, I mean, the lessons in here are really step by step. You just have to go through them and follow them and do them step by step to get set up. Okay, any other questions? I'll take one more question. It is 10, well, for me, it's 10 o'clock. It's an hour past. So if there's any other questions, let me know.
Can you sign me up for March, please? Send me emails for March.
So you should get all the emails if you are if it doesn't go to your junk folder. Yeah,
It's
so
automatic.
I'm just going to send them automatically. Yeah. Christine, is it essential to use the same ID in WeChat and Xiaohongshu? Unfortunately, I would say absolutely yes. Otherwise, it's just very difficult to easily get people to get onto WeChat. I mean, some people don't, but in which case they can't just say ID is the same, or people, you know, see that, like, will see their ID and search for them on WeChat. I mean, you can send a picture of your ID, like on a piece of paper, and be like, WeChat ID, teacher Jess, or whatever. So in the long run, it is better for them both to have the same ID. We harp on about it. You can do it without. It's just so much more harder, like, because Xiaohongshu is really tightening up. Like I used to get away with murder on Xiaohongshu, and now, like, if I put one toe out of line, they try and restrict me. So, well, they'll send me messages to say you're not allowed to do this and that. And I'll be honest, like, you know, you can find students on Xiaohongshu, and it's nice because you can find like your niche students on Xiaohongshu. But like, if you can start a group and just get like 5 to 10 students in that group and get them to invite their friends, that's a really nice funnel to also get people to join your WeChat group. And you know, if you can have a lead magnet as a WeChat group, you can find students like that. And I think ultimately it is easier. Xiaohongshu is just getting like really, really sticky. It's not impossible. You've just got to know what you're doing. And so really, if you're serious about Xiaohongshu, you need to go through Katie's course, which is in here. So these lessons take you through how to use Xiaohongshu. I mean, this one, avoid getting blocked on Xiaohongshu. You need to know it, because otherwise you'll do something silly and then you'll get blocked and then you'll get frustrated. So yeah.
Can I just say that I'm really keen to register on WeChat and get on with it. It's just, it feels for me sometimes as if I'm making the cake before sorting the ingredients out. You know, what I mean by that is like, I have this thing in my head where I really want to make sure that I'm keen on what I'm going to end up teaching. So I'm keen to get on with it, but that's what's going on.
I understand that. I think if there's an element where it is important to have, you know, your business set up, but I think the best learning is by doing. So
Yeah, you're
if you
right there.
yeah. So I mean, it's just taking that leap of faith into the next thing. And also it depends where you are on your journey. Like for me, I just needed to get private students when I started. And so I took everyone and anyone. I taught adults and IELTS and business English and phonics. I just took whoever reached out to me and would pay me decently enough. But I could never scale to where I am today without picking a niche. So I know that, I mean, I've spoken to Yasmin and she's basically filled up her classes with a lot of one-on-ones. She's only got, I think, 1 or 2 group classes. And now she's like, well, I'm earning 3 times the amount that I did working at my ESL company. But because I'm not doing group classes, it's now that much harder almost to get into that. It's not impossible. Like she just needs to find one time slot and start a group class for that 1 hour time slot. So yeah, it's not impossible. But sometimes just going out and doing it helps you figure out learning the ropes and what you want for your business. Because I mean, I taught phonics and then I was like, oh, I hate this. And I gave that student away to someone else or whatever. And then when I realized group classes were that much more, you know, financially viable, I was just like, I need to structure my business in a way that I'm only focusing on group classes. But this was honestly, guys, like this is a course that you guys have maybe been doing for a few months. I've been an independent teacher now for like 3 or 4 years. And my first year and a half was just taking anyone and everyone to just get myself started. And through doing that, I learned lots of lessons and it helped me to, you know, get to where I am today. Oh.
Thank you very much.
Okay, cool. All right, everyone. Well, I hope this was helpful. I know that Chinese social media can be very overwhelming and daunting at times because it's just a totally different platform that we're not used to using. It would be like asking a Chinese person to navigate around Instagram or Facebook, and they've never used it before. So it is a learning curve for us all. But hopefully, if you go through the course step by step and you watch these videos and you try and put things into practice, then you'll get there. Okay. Wonderful.
Thank you, Jess.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. And yeah, I'll be putting in the Facebook group the new time for Katie's session, but she should be teaching on Wednesday, and then one other time this week. I'm going to get that time and date for you guys as soon as I can. Awesome. Lovely, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you so much.
Cheers. Bye. 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 Bye.